you doing, ladies? It's kind of like a deja vu. Okay, so my name is Jerry Adams. Military for 22 years, federal agent for about 15, so about 37 years total time working for the government, Uncle Sam. Biggest reason why I started teaching self-defense is for the realistic aspect of it. Okay, what most people view as self-defense is BS. Layman's terms, it's kind of wrong. Okay, reason being, okay, my bad. Adrian, Robert, and Colin. Okay, Rima and Melissa back in the back. Okay, so most people, when they're taught certain variable things, they're taught in the classroom type of a thing. It's nice and chill. There's no realism behind it. Okay, what I train in is pure realism. If somebody's going to attack you, they're going to attack you with psychological intent plus the physical prowess to do so. Does that make sense? Meaning, if I'm going to attack somebody, I'm not going to come in all nice and gentle. Right? I'm not. So if I'm going to attack somebody, I'm coming with the intent of coming in hard and strong. Okay, so with that, in any type of altercation, any type of physical altercation, attack, you're going to get hurt. Meaning you're going to get hit, scratched, hair pulled, bruised, whatever. How you mentally process that depends on your survivability. Meaning if you fight back with intent and you're focused versus being frantic, meaning you're able to control your emotions, you stand a better chance. If I come out and he's attacking, okay, and I start doing this crazy stuff, it's really not going to work. Okay? Like I said, I teach realism. Okay? If I'm going to attack, if somebody's coming to me, okay, this is my rule. 1 foot for punches, 2 foot for kicks. Okay? 1 foot for punches, 2 foot for kicks. Reason being, from this far out, I've got no viable threat, right? I don't. I can run away. Hopefully I can run faster than him. That's the biggest thing. If the fight or flight sequence, meaning you're either going to fight or you're going to fly. You're going to run to try to save your life. Can you run faster than that person? Do you have a place to run to? Can you get away from that area? Does he have a weapon in his pocket that he can go, oh, I ain't chasing him. Have you thought about all that? Okay, so the whole adage of waiting for the person's punch to happen, throw that out the window. Okay, women are already a target, are they not? Okay, has our society this day gotten even more worse with violence, quick to hitting women, abduction, so forth and so on. So with that, you should already get that into your brain. The majority of bad things can be avoided if you know what you're looking for. Meaning, if you're out during lunch, you're going to go to the bank. Do you actually think people are not watching? Okay. If I walk out of any type of building and I'm doing this, right? Am I paying attention to what the heck is going on around with? You're not. Okay, so once you go into a public unknown area, meaning do you know the threats that are out there? No, you do not. So when you go out in the public, know your surroundings, look around. Okay? Pay attention to who's paying attention to you. If you've got a lot of bags and you're at the mall or something, you know, if somebody's following you, all those things should start ringing a bell. Okay, so now, this is a weapon, believe it or not. This was an old phone of mine that I actually had to use for such a thing. Okay? We all have the assistant, Siri or whatever, right? If Big Boy comes up to me and I'm trying to do something at my car and I catch him and he's trying to attack me or do something weird, hey Siri, call 911. Okay? This is a weapon. This is why I say so. Metal, plastic, right? Now, collarbone, just listen. And I'm hitting him like this, very gentle. Adrian? Okay, so if I have my phone in my hand, I don't have to dig for any other weapon. This can hurt. Where I'm going to hit are human vital points. Okay, weak points. Ear, nose, throat, nose. Okay? Hard metal, hard plastic to bone. Now, I'm not hitting very hard. I'm just barely tapping. How does that feel, bud? Okay? Okay, so that in itself is a weapon. Okay? Like I said, that was my first one. Okay? So now, when it comes to striking, anytime you strike and you do this thing way out here, all the way from Oklahoma, California, wherever, okay, it's not Hollywood, okay? All this is going to be very easily blocked. They're going to come in, they're going to take you down, and then you're in major trouble.
Yeah.
Make sense? So hands up, elbows down. If he comes in, okay, hey man, back off, back off. 1 foot for punches, 2 foot for kicks. If he comes in, I'm not going to do anything fancy. Ear, nose, throat, and eyes. Everybody say it. Ear, nose, throat, and eyes. Okay? Ears, okay? Cupping the hand, popping the ear. Nose, palm strike to the thigh. Throat, okay? Throat, okay? His Adam's apple isn't pronounced. Okay, so this beautiful thing right here, the Adam's apple, beautiful thing to hit. Okay? Now I'm hitting it very gentle. When I go to strike this, my hands are up. I'm trying to talk them down using my verbals and everything else like this. Back off, to whatever, hell, whatever. Once he comes in close enough, I'm going to launch and hit in here. Is that enough to take him down? No, but it's enough to give you a position of dominance. Okay? Then you capitalize on it. You don't stop on one strike. You stop until the threat is done. Does that make sense? So if I get a good hit, boom, boom, yeah, got him. That really didn't do much of anything, did it? No. Okay? So if I get this good hit on him, hey man, back off, back up. Now I'm not going to go here. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you. Yeah. I'm not going to telegraph my move. Make sense? Yeah. So under his eyesight, he's keeping eyes with me. Are you looking over here? Okay, so my hands are up here. Hey man, chill, chill, chill. If that verbal doesn't work and he comes in, I've got to defend myself. Once you tell a person no, especially as females, no is no, right? Yeah. On anything, no is no. If I'm a guy, we're on a date, I'm like, hey, what's up, how you doing? And I start getting too stupid, no is no. Is that not right? Once they pass that line of, okay, this guy's getting stupid or something's happening, you have every single right to react and defend yourself. Now, within reason, don't go out and get a butcher knife and start hacking the guy to pieces. But I'm going to initiate the first strike. I am not going to wait for his throw to come to me. You're already at a disadvantage. Yeah, he has the element of surprise. Make sense? So if I'm here, hey man, back off, and he closes that distance, that gives me my permission to defend myself. Do I feel comfortable with this big dude right here? Hey man, dude, chill. No, I don't. Can I justify that and tell that to a cop or whoever I have to explain it to? 100%. Throat, very effective. Nose, very effective. Ears, very effective. And the eyes. Now, when you go for the eyes, it's not the whole Three Stooges thing. It's not that. I'm coming out with full claws. If you've got nails, use them. There are no rules to survival. It's whatever works at that freaking time. If you can bite the guy, bite the guy. Is that not a psychological mind mess? Check what Mike Tyson did to Holyfield, dude. And those are trained fighters. Right? But if I'm going to strike, I've got to do so with intent. Okay? Speed, surprise, and violence of action. When I hit, I'm going to hit with full force. Okay? When I hit, I'm coming across. I'm not going to stop. Okay? As females, one of the most important things you've got to worry about is a rear naked choke for abduction and rape. One of the most easiest things to do. Why? Because mostly everybody knows it. Right? You've seen it on MMA and UFC and stuff. Rear naked. This right here, 3 to 5 seconds. 3 to 5 seconds, you will be choked out. You will be passed out, unconscious. They will be able to do anything they can with. 3 to 5 seconds. Cuts off the oxygen to the brain. Okay, big guy. Thank you. And he was being very nice with it. Okay. Target areas. Okay, a lot of people say, oh, just go for the gonads or the testicles. Most guys expect that. Especially guys on the street, they expect to try to get, neutered. Okay. Now, back to the rear naked choke on here. Okay. If somebody tries this on you and you allow them to sink it, okay, you're gone. Pretty much. 3 to 5 seconds. How many people can last 3 to 5 seconds of being choked? Nobody. Okay. Easiest move. By the wrist, by here, and you're pulling down. I've got to turn into him, my chin into him, so I can breathe. I can't hit him like this. The whole elbow to the gut thing, it's a myth. Okay? You've got to move your hips out of the way to hit him into the gut effectively. This does not work. Very easily defended against. I've got to move here so it opens up all this. Does that make sense? Okay. So, on grabs, Robert, he's got big fingers. So if anybody reaches out to grab, okay, go for the smallest, simplest thing. Keep it simple. Okay? He reaches out, hey man, chill, chill, chill. He reaches out to grab, I'm splitting his fingers. Now watch my motion. Okay? Fingers are joints, are they not? There's only so many ways a joint can bend. So thinking about it in an effective manner, he gets me to the ground. Bad place for anybody, including women. However he gets you to the ground, your worst thing to do is to give him your back. Okay? You get pushed to the ground or you get knocked to the ground. My first thing, or the very least you should do, 90 degrees on your elbow. Reason being, I can move and I can attack.
You can pivot too.
Okay, so if he comes in, this is where I'm attacking. Okay, his ankles and his knees. Sorry. Okay, and I'm hitting hard as I can, and as fast as I can, and as violent as I can. Your aggression has to be more than that person trying to assault you. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not going to stop until that threat is done. Period. I don't care what I have to do, what I have to grab. I'm going home at night. I am not going to be a victim. And every single female has to put that in their brain. I don't care what the odds are. You've got to tell yourself you're not going to be a victim, that you will be home. Okay? When most people get to the ground, and I'm going to let Colin do this. When most people get to the ground, especially when females and they're holding you down and they go to unbuckle your belt or whatever. So they throw Colin down to the ground. Robert's going to try to rape him, and he go ahead and mounts him. Okay? Very simple movement. I'm going to talk him through it. Okay? So off of here, do you actually think Colin is going to be able to power his way out? No, not really. Because all Colin is going to do is bring his ankles to the outside and trap his ankles so he can't base out. Okay, what basing out is being able to stabilize yourself on top. Okay? The next thing he's going to do is, when he is ready, he's going to pull just his elbows, his forearm up is going to be lazy, going to be no strength. All his strength is to his elbows, going to his ribs. At the same time, he's going to kick his hips upward, then roll them over to get a position of dominance. This is what I mean. Go ahead, Colin. Okay. You want him to see you do it again on a different person? Okay, Colin, Adrian. That's why I love the big guys. Okay? So the guy gets on top of you, he's choking you. In this position here, you're not going to be able to power your way from anybody. No, I don't care who you are, you're not going to have enough strength to push this guy off of you. You won't. A grown man can. So you have to think logically. How does a joint work in the human body? How many ways can it bend? One way. Pretty much one way, right? Okay. So off of here, he's choking. Okay. So if he's choking, wrist up here, come across, elbow, okay, and you're rolling to that side. Hard as you can. Okay, what did he do? He isolated his elbow, wrist and elbow. He locked his elbow up. Okay? Come on up. Okay? All right. So off the choke, he's on top, choking, he moves his hand. Okay, or he's choking. If he's got full weight on you, okay, and he has the intent and the psychological to go back with it, listen to my voice and how it changed. And how it changes. Go ahead. Choke. Choke, 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 choke. Okay. Okay, so this position, anytime you're on the ground, it's the worst thing that can happen. Okay? Because you're going to get hurt, you're going to get bruised up. How you handle it from this point, when you're facing this guy, you're not going to have any power coming up. None. Okay? So that's why we trap his base. So we cannot balance himself when we're flipping, when we're rolling. Okay? Once you do this, you have a slight advantage. I can move, I can start popping him up. You see his body movement? But you have to worry about this. So this is the biggest fear. Wrist, I could come up or I could come under. But I'm going to turn that way to lock the elbow out. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, so this is secured to my body and my core. My elbows are in.
I'm reaching up under, then I'm pulling this hard, okay?
Yeah.
Once I pull this hard, I'm gonna roll with him. From here, do I base out? Hand to the face, chin, hit, do whatever. From here, even if he wraps me up with his legs, wrap me up, wrap up, okay, into what is commonly known as a guard. Okay, everybody will do it. Your elbow tips to the inside of his thighs. Okay, you have pressure points and you have very viable nerves down here in between your thighs, right here in the middle, and also to the outside. Viable points to hit. Strong. Okay, so he's squeezing pretty strong, moving back and forth. Okay, so you're in here, it's kind of difficult, right? Because you go against power. One little simple thing is a common nerve, okay? If you hold your hands, elbow to the chest, okay? Middle of the thighs, I'm just gonna come back to my heels and press in. How does that feel, Robert?
Oh yeah, it's an instant break.
Okay. So once you're here,
Hey, just to be clear, ladies, we actually haven't, I swear, we haven't rehearsed any of this, so I'm not giving Jerry anything.
okay, so once I'm here, I'm gonna try to capitalize, meaning I'm not gonna stay in this position. Up, out, and in. If I have hard-soled shoes, I'm breaking an ankle. I'm gonna stomp, okay? Stomping works. That's why I love cowboy boots. And I'm not originally from Texas, okay? I will wear the heck out of some cowboy boots. Why? Because they're highly effective. Somebody comes up behind you, and now I've got Chucks on, so. But somebody comes up behind you, does whatever, bear hug, do whatever. Okay, so somebody comes up behind you. Anything like this, I've got to turn my hips out. If I can, get behind them. Now all I'm going to do is stand up, grab tight. Okay, so Adrian's a wee bit more stronger than I am.
Can I move forward just a little bit? Okay, thanks.
Okay, so once my knee's behind him, watch. It's all about leverage. Okay, so most martial arts studios, common day nowadays, okay, they teach you a bunch of silly stuff. What I mean by that, okay, is on a basic choke. Most people choke. Most people, you guys have seen this, right?
Yeah.
This does not work. I don't care who you are, that is strength on strength. Grab tight. I'm gonna come up really, really hard.
Fighter. Okay. You're hearing my voice, right?
It doesn't work.
You want to see that again?
Okay, it does not work. Okay? So off of that throat, okay, off of that throat, easiest thing. I'm gonna turn this way so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay? I'm not gonna fight them back and forth like this. Okay, the easiest thing I can do is from the power from my hips and my shoulders. I'm going against this elbow. Okay? Inside here, and I'm turning hard. If you don't have that much strength, I'm gonna use my forearm. Not that pretty, but does it work? 100%. Once I do this, what can I do from here? Can I drop my weight and break all that lovely stuff? That teaches you to touch me, mister. Okay, but do you see what I mean? Okay? When you attack or when you're being attacked, your aggression has to be that more than that person attacking you. But it has to be controlled. You have to be able to control your mind. One breath, one thought. Okay? Control your mind, have a conscious thought. You have to be able to breathe in order for you to be effective. So remember to breathe. As Robert said in the last class, use your verbals. Yell, scream. Hey Siri, call 911. Help! How effective is your voice? You being silent gives them more power, does it not? So, I'm sorry, I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs. Make sense? All right. On variable things like wallets and things like that. I usually carry 2 wallets with me. One to throw down, one to keep. This is all my important stuff right here. Somebody comes up to me, hey man, take it. It's a couple of bucks, some old cards, USAA, you know, silly stuff like that. All my important stuff is somewhere else on my body. If somebody's coming up to rob you, are they actually going to try to stand there and talk to you for hours? Or do they want to come in and come out? Are materialistic things worth life? Is a coach purse worth your life?
Are the ingredients inside worth your life? No, it's not. Okay, so when somebody crosses that line, you have to have that mindset that you are going to be able to fight back. How you do so matters. If you go off half-cocked and go crazy, like way out swinging and stuff like that, do you actually think that's going to work? All these punches out here are very easily blocked. I'm not coming from Ohio straight to Texas. All my action is from this close. Meaning this close. I'm not doing this. If I do this, what does that tell the person? If I do this, hey man, back off. What does that tell the person? That I really don't want much, right? Hey, leave me alone. I can do more with my hands open than this. Point case. Throw a punch. Okay, so this relaxes your body, meaning, hey man, chill, chill, chill. Okay, I can attack straight on from here. If I draw back and I telegraph my punches or my strikes, what's that going to do to that guy? You're basically telling him what you're doing. Okay, so your strikes, your punches, your strikes, everything that you do to assault this person has to be strong and violent. Speed, surprise, and the violence of action. The speed at what you do it, the surprise factor, and the violence of your own action. Does that make sense? Anything?
Nothing. Well, I'm gonna point out just random little nicks that y'all have. So, how many y'all keep pens or anything like that in your purses? Anything like that. These things are also weapons. Jerry, would you like to demonstrate? Or do you want to demonstrate? Or me to demonstrate?
Pen collarbone. Pen throat. Pen front of the face. Pen to the side of the neck. Okay? All these areas are human weak points. Every single one of them. Ear, nose, throat, and eyes. Human weak points. Eyes you can't protect. If I come in for the eyes, I'm like as I'm doing with full ball. Okay? Nose, very easy. Palm straight to the nose, or hammer fist. But when you attack, you have to do so violently with that conscious mind that you're going to survive, that you're not going to be a victim. You're going to get hurt, you're going to get punched, you're going to get scraped, and all that lovely stuff. It's what matters when you walk away going home. Are you going to walk away or are you going to be carried? Okay, so when somebody crosses that line, you have every single right to defend yourself. Use your verbals, okay? Anything around you is a viable freaking weapon, okay? You know, if you have a gun, know how to use the weapon. Know how to draw it from undercover, know how to draw it from your purse. Do you have to draw it from your purse? Not really. If you've got a weapon in your purse, you can grab it in your purse and shoot it at a 90 degrees on target. Okay? Any weapons out there that you have to hold and actually know how to use, pepper spray, a little tiny jabbing device. Jabbing devices, you gotta get this close. Stun guns, you gotta get this close. Pepper spray, if it's a little small handheld, that's about as far as you have to do. Do you have it in your hand when you're walking? Or is it in your purse tucked away, or is it in your car somewhere that you don't know where it's in? Okay, so the most viable thing for most of us nowadays is what? Right? Now, not any single one of us are going to be walking around every single day like this. Okay? But when you walk outside, take your faces outside of that phone. Pay attention to who's around you and who's paying attention to you. Okay? If you're out shopping and you got a lot of bags, hey, look at me. If you're going to the bank, pay attention to who's watching. Period. Is that it? Rob? Any questions, ladies?
I have a question. You made a point about when you go into a bank, pay attention around you. If you guys notice, like the tellers, when they're counting out your money, they like to count the money out loud. 100, 200, I said, do that.
How far is the teller away from you? We're like this close. Hey, don't tell my business to nobody. Just give me my money.
I told myself, keep that down.
But anybody have any questions whatsoever? Anything? Anything you want to go over? And if you want to come up and try something, that's what we're here for.
No,
Go ahead.
I would like to see the 4 to 5 second rule, you know, when the lady can get choked out, but not me.
Okay, so you want somebody to be choked out?
You know, I wanna see the turn.
Oh, to hit.
To get out.
Okay, so let me use a bigger rock. The bigger guy. Okay, so from here off a rear naked choke. Once I feel this coming around, I have got to get this down. I've got to get my chin down. Okay? You will not be able to hold this for very long.
And you don't want your
You
attacker to get
don't, you don't want this. Okay, so in fact, come over here. So if he does this, he comes up behind you and he hooks this up and he starts dragging you, 3 to 5 seconds, you're passing out. Grab. Okay. Your body weight's gonna choke you out.
And I'm not even pushing down on him.
Yeah, he's not, okay? Your body weight's gonna choke you out. Once they tip you off balance, your body weight's gonna choke you out. So first things first, do you see where I have my left hand in? Right by his wrist, okay? Now, you're not gonna be able to Superman this stuff out. You won't, because they've already got this, okay? It's all about leverage. This hand comes up as high and tight to his elbow crease as I can. And all I'm doing is pulling straight down, hard and fast, and I'm turning my chin at the same time. Gotta watch my beard. But that's gonna enable me to breathe, okay? Once I'm here, boom. I come here. Can I hit, or can I stand up? Okay, now if it's somebody big like this is gonna be kind of difficult trying to stand up. So what I'm going to do is break his knee down.
No, I let go for my safety.
Okay, so
But the actual drop was real, so.
that was a very easy one. I'm gonna do the flip over with Adrian.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so now if they have that sunk in, now there's 1,000, you've got 10,000 different martial arts guys out there that claiming this is the best, that's the best. Okay, there's not one thing out there that and anybody can teach that goes, okay, I got you, you did. There's not one. There isn't. This is easy. This close, you've got to fight. When they lay hands on you and grab you, you have got to fight. Does that make sense? All right. Rear naked choke. Okay, so kind of simple, but you got to get your mind wrapped around it. I've got to get comfortable first. Okay, so once you're able to pull this down, okay, now all this happens super quick. Okay, you're not going to sit here and wait and explain stuff to the guy. Okay, so hey, I'm going to do this to you. Are you ready? No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to fight off. When I am ready, I'm lifting both my knees up at the same time. Then I'm kind of doing a crunch while my knees fall to the floor. Can it make sense? Okay, so watch. Okay.
Tuck your chin.
Make sure you tuck. All right, so pull back. Okay, so that was that, okay?
Does that work for somebody that's 90 pounds when you have somebody as big as he?
I kind of threw him earlier.
Well, you're not 90 pounds.
All it is you want to try it, you're more than welcome. Okay, all that is you're transferring your weight from up to down, and you're doing a little crunch to throw that person off balance. Okay, you're not going to do it as slow as I just did. That's just for demonstration purposes. Okay, so when you do it, you're going to throw your knees up and force it down as fast as you can, and just let your weight drop down. When you have his wrist or his arm, he's coming with it. Okay?
Jerry, I think your question is kind of similar to what I asked in the last session, you know, about if somebody might have limited mobility or to her point, they might be really tiny or older.
Okay. So on anything like that, now,
Well,
okay, so on anything like that, okay, Adrian? Any type of joint that you can grab, seated or whatever, okay, from a seated position. So if I'm seated, anyway, he comes out to grab and I see the grab. Fingers, I'm splitting the fingers and I'm rolling. Okay? Okay. One of the other ones. I showed that one on the last one, so grab. Okay, so double hand grab, okay? This right here, the punch, so the whole punching thing, you're not gonna have that much power for punching if you're seated or if you're in a weaker position. Okay, so what I would do if he's, especially if he's like this, if you can move your leg, I'm gonna trap this one leg here. Then I'm going to this way, and I'm pulling him this way, or I'm going to do this way, up above, and I'm pulling him that way. So this is gonna be very easy because I have this leg trapped. He's not gonna be able to base. Okay, so all I did, Adrian, all I did was just trap one area where he's not gonna be able to base out or balance himself. Keep this to my body, this is coming up, I'm popping his elbow as hard as I can, just to move him that way. His body and momentum is gonna do the rest. Okay, so on somebody big like Moosehead here, okay, I've gotta come out hard. If he's got long sleeves or a jacket on, grab the jacket right by the elbow crease. It's gonna give you a little bit more leverage, okay? If I can grab his sleeve, I just bought the shirt, but if I grab the sleeve, I'm gonna pull it to my right since I'm trapping his left. Okay? It's all on how you view it and not all on how your mind processes it. The more you train, I'm not saying go out and train 80 hours a week, you know, being Mr. Miyagi. Okay? I'm talking about training in something of a realistic sense. Okay? Find something out there that teaches you realism, not classroom. Two big different things between classroom and realism. In classroom, all this stuff works from the choke. All this stuff works. All that stuff works. In real life, when you go strength on strength, you're fighting even more, if that makes sense. Because it's going to be, even with Colin, I'm bigger than Colin, I'm way more than Colin. If we go strength on strength, okay, that's defeating the purpose of what I'm doing. I'm not there to prove how strong I am. I'm trying to get away from this guy. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So whatever he's coming at me, okay, if I'm able to block a little bit and he keeps pushing, I'm turning off to the side. I'm getting out of the center line. Okay? This is the center line. All this stuff, that's kind of silly. Okay? On any movement, I'm going to try to get past at least his center line. A step, I have options. I have options. Okay? If you can get to the outside versus staying in this fatal funnel, you stand a better chance. Because from the side, I can do a lot more damage, break ribs, take them down, common peroneal nerve strikes, things like that. This one is highly effective, extremely effective. Okay, you have your common peroneal and your inner peroneal. Okay, your common nerve that runs down both sides of your thigh. Okay, if you kick it pretty hard, and I'm being very nice, you will drop the person. Okay, you will drop the person if you hit that nerve properly. Okay, when you hit the throat, there's two areas to hit: front and up here by the base of the tongue. When I hit, I'm not just hitting here. On any strike, there's two strikes I'm going to tell you guys to learn right now: palm and a hammer fist. Two easiest strikes out. Hammer fist right here, top of the nose, side of the neck, or the collarbone. Okay, palm strike, same thing. Ear, nose, even to the eyes. When you go for the eyes, sink at least a digit into the eyeball. If he's trying to kill you, or if he's trying to rape you, or something like that, it's not going to kill him. This is just cause immense pain. Okay, your whole purpose is to survive and get away from the guy, not to worry about how he feels after. Go ahead. That's my opinion, ladies. Because no is no in my book. Okay. Today's society with the so-called men, I do not understand. No is no. To me, there should be no violence against women. No.
My question is, we all hope this would never happen to us, right?
100%.
We're gonna panic. So is there some type of coping mechanism that you can say to yourself, you know, to calm you down and think clear?
So,
Right, you know what I'm saying?
yes, ma'am. So we brought it up in the early part of this, whatever, and actually Tamara just brought it up because she recognized that it was an important point. You know, and it goes back to, you know, controlling your emotions, you know, the point that we have here. And honestly, ladies, the most powerful thing that you guys have to your advantage not only to be able to call for help or whatever, but to keep you in a state of consciousness. What I mean is, you get an adrenaline dump, right? And that 0.2, 0.5, 1 second or whatever, you're like, oh my God. Instinct takes over, and you're gonna default to whatever your body tells you to do. The most powerful thing that you have at your disposal to bring you back to consciousness, even if it's to just buy you 2 seconds of time and clarity, is your voice. Whoa, hold on, stop. This is not what I want. We don't need to do this. Well, what the fuck are you doing? Excuse my French, but you get the point. Whatever. If it's gonna come from here, it's gonna be real or whatever, that can ground you instantly and bring you back to presence. That is so powerful. If you see someone in a dark alley or whatever, this isn't the movies, ladies. This isn't cool. No. Hey, who the hell is that? Bring out a flashlight, whatever. What you doing back here? I mean, whatever. Any kind of presence to keep you in consciousness is the most powerful weapon you have.
If you stay silent, what do you do to that person trying to attack you?
Give them power.
Yeah, your predator will assume that you're paralyzed with fear. He will assume that.
It's gonna be more like candy to that person attacking.
It's totally.
Okay, if you remain silent and you're subservient and all that stuff, some of them get off on that. Okay, so my point is, I don't preach violence. I don't. I deplore it. I've been in enough of it. Combat, all that crap. Okay, but when it comes down time to it, you have to act with your mental capacity. You have to be able to breathe. You have to be able to be effective.
How many mothers are in here? This is a perfect time in your life to start teaching your girls and your boys to speak up for themselves. This all translates to real life, guys. All of it. You guys can be foundation. Dad might be just, okay, put up your dukes. Mom, no, you tell your daughters, you tell your young ones, speak up for yourselves. It is crucial.
No means no, especially when it comes to kids and females. No means no. Okay? I live by it. I teach that all the time. No is no. If somebody breaks that no, hey man, no, you can back off. Don't want none of that. Or however you're gonna put it, where they get that point of back off, don't want none, but they keep pushing, you have every single right to defend yourself. Every single right to defend yourself. If you stay silent, if you let it go, what happens to the next person? If you fight back, do so with a conscious mind. Train with whomever, but train in a realistic fashion. Not cookie cutter, not classroom, tap stuff, okay? If you're training for self-defense, then train for self-defense. If you're training for martial arts warriordom, for MMA, UFC, or whatever, then go to a gym that specifically teaches you that. Self-defense is self-defense. Anything that goes to get you away from that aggressor, from that attacker, anything that works. I don't care if it's the Mike Tyson bite. If he's on me and I can't get him off of me and his ear's next to me, boom. I'm chewing on some filet mignon or something. Okay? That's what you have to get into your mind, is that when that time and point happens to where that uncomfortability happens to where, she's like, okay. Why sit there and just say something, get help?
Look, most everybody knows when aggression starts happening. I'm sure all y'all, a lot of us have probably grown up hard to one degree or another, have some street smarts. Y'all know when aggression happens. It doesn't need to be, when the dude's right here. You can read a man. Women can read men better than men can read women.
Ain't that the truth?
Okay. So, it's, you guys have good barometers. Use them.
No, so I'm gonna have us split off real quick in little groups. So I'm gonna take like this side of the room. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask us, and we'll try to answer things real quick for y'all. Because I know we're pretty much out of time, but I just want to help answer any questions that any of y'all may have.
If you guys want to reach out for any questions whatsoever, there's all the stuff. Okay. Ma'am? I hold private classes. Okay, so But now I also give two free classes a month at, Lean Hope School Center.
I can't tell you what the purpose
Two a month,
is.
it's free
It
to the
really
public.
just depends.